Hey guys, so I want to talk about near death experiences. And my near death experience that I'm going to talk about was where I almost drowned. And more specifically, somebody almost killed me. So if you want to find out more about that story, stay tuned. And why did I think about this? Well, I was remembering while I was watching some Pokemon and reading some of the book on the first volume, a couple volumes ago. Red almost drowns to death, and then he gets saved by Poliwag. Well, Poliwag here, he actually evolves into a Poliwhirl. See, I got this little guy here because I loved what he did in the manga. I bought this last year. Um, so in this volume, volume one, right? This is the first time that Red is having a fight with Lieutenant Surge, who's the electric type gym leader. And Surge is a scumbag in the series, as you know. He literally shoots him, gets Red electrocuted, and Red falls off of the cruise ship that you also go in on the first game. And he falls into the water and drowns, right? So, Red's main in this is not Pikachu. It was Poliwhirl, he found him as Poliwag first, And he what was so great too about this is he said if you look at it here, right? Like where is it? Yeah, right here it shows you when Poliwag uh, first tried to save Red when he almost drowned for the first time when he was younger. And then Poliwag, in that desperation, evolved to a Poliwhirl, right? And I think this time, I'm pretty sure Poliwhirl then evolves into a Poliwrath. Yeah, yeah, and he evolved to a Poliwrath the second time that he had to save Red from drowning to death. So yeah, like I'm serious. I always loved that little story that happens to Red so much because it literally happened to me. Okay? And I know that sounds wild. Like, what? Like, yes, someone tried to kill me, and then I was saved by someone else. So, I was 4 years old. What year could that have been? I don't know, 2002, 2003. I'm not sure. But I was like 4 or 5. uh, my cousin and I and everybody was outside in the yard like we always were. They used to come over, and we were in the pool, and all the adults were sitting in the back, uh, cooking, eating, whatever the hell they were doing. Now, this cousin of mine is a total prick, even to this day. And everything terrible that he does or everything horrible that he says is justified with there's something they had an excuse that there was something wrong with him, like ADD or something. But here's the funny part. You say, "Oh, but what are you trying to say that doesn't exist?" No, no, I'm not. I'm saying in this specific case, his parents use whatever mental thing that they labeled on him as an excuse, to avoid, him having actual responsibility for his horrible actions and how he treats people. That's how I feel about it from my own experience. And here's why. So we're in the pool, right? And he's got a father who's all about sports, sports, sports. Uh, you know, Wrestling, competing, trampling on people, stepping on other people. And these people go to church every Sunday. They're all about Jesus and everything. And I'm not against Jesus, not saying that. But these are your average Sunday church going hypocrites. Nonetheless, he gets rough in the pool with me. Now, as a child, I am not super aggressive child. I'm actually kind of a softy. I hate to say it because you could call me a bitch, whatever. But I was just not aggressive. I never liked sports as a child. So he's getting rough with me in the pool. and he starts pushing me down, and we're on the deep end of the pool though. We're not on the shallow end. All of a sudden, he decides he wants to start, you know, pushing me down underwater underneath him. And we had our tubes and stuff at the time, but he managed to get me off of the tube and put my head down in the water and push me down. And I remember, like, I was like, you know, fighting to get up and shit. I really was. But there was a moment where, like, after the struggling for so long and my head was under that water for so long, and I, like, stopped breathing pretty much, but I was still, like, I guess conscious. There was just a moment where I was just like, my body just gave up. And it's strange, like, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't panicking. Like, just the silence took over my mind. And then I started to just drift down the deep end, like Red in Pokemon manga. I just started to drift down. I don't remember feeling scared or anything. It was the strangest thing. Like, my body just froze, and my brain was just, and I was just looking like in a up a little bit, you know? And I'm not kidding you. Like the comic, my grandpa, like Poliwag, he comes diving into the pool, you know? And he turns into Poliwhirl, and he fucking takes me out of the deep end and saves my sorry ass. I'm serious. He saved my life. My cousin almost killed me. And here's why I hate his parents. And I say that they use the mental thing as an excuse to avoid any responsibility for that they're horrible parents and they raised monsters, right? They acted like nothing happened. They acted like they didn't see what was happening. They didn't even ask me what happened. They didn't even talk to my grandpa about it. They just acted like nothing happened. It's the strangest thing. It's really weird. Everybody just acted like nothing happened. My grandpa knows what happened. He saved my life. It's a good thing if I don't think he was watching the whole time because he would have said something when Anthony was putting my head in the water. Oh, my cousin. Well, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? I don't give a fuck if you know his name. Fuck him. But he must have noticed, like, where's Geo? And then he probably looked in the deep end and saw me. And then he, boom, you know, pollywagged. Ooh. And he saved my ass. He saved my ass. Now, if you're an evolutionary person, you'll say, well, you were too weak. You should have died because that's Darwinism. Fuck you, man. How about that? No, I'm glad my grandpa was there to save me. You know, like who are these people? They didn't say sorry. They didn't punish him for that. They didn't ground him for that. There was absolutely zero reaction to what he did to me. And that was how it was most of my life with these people called family. Not my immediate family, all these cousins and uncles and aunts. I was treated like a shit. And if you would fight back or defend yourself, they had all these horrible things to say about you, and they were ready to jump down your throat about it, you know? But when them or their kids would hurt you or ruin something you had or fuck with you, not a word. They wouldn't say a word about it. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I was supposed to take... They hated me. They hated me. I don't care. We don't see these people anymore. But yeah, like, just from that Pokemon comic, it made me remember all of that. I've never talked about it openly like this, just with my grandpa, and we would just talk about, like, how weird it was. Although, not weird. It only proves my philosophy that most Americans are the American Psycho that Bret Easton Ellis wrote about in his 1980-something book and in the movie. It's all about competition, all about stepping on you, and like even writers like Tom King, they have to tear down a character to put the character they like up, you know? The American way is brutality. The American way is cold, calculating, no room for love. And the only love that they're capable of is phony kind of love, virtue signaling type of love, surface level social media, taking pictures and looking like the one big happy family kind of love. But if you look really deep in that layered onion, it is a rotting, ugly onion of the American family. That's the current state of it. So yeah, you could have your sports. You could stick it right up your ass. I don't need any of that. But look, have you had any near death experiences? My grandpa said he had a near death experience when he was like 10. He was playing catch on the street when he used to live in the city. And he went to run in the middle of the street, and a truck was coming. And he was smart enough to lay flat on the ground at the right angle, and the truck just drove right over him. But I mean, if he screwed up just a little bit, I mean, who knows what would have happened? And he also died in the almost died in the military when he was driving a jeep with his other soldiers. And he wasn't in the war or anything. This was like right after Korea and before Vietnam. So he was in the peacetime when he joined in, right? The jeep flipped and he almost burst his head open. So that he had like two near death experiences. And then plus all the things that happened in his hospital, in the hospitals and stuff. So I'm lucky enough to only have one near death. I'm not asking for another experience, don't get me wrong. But have you had any near death experiences, and did you feel that like almost nothingness? Like I wasn't afraid for my life at all. And I don't know if it was shock. I don't think it was shock. Like it was like not an acceptance, but it was kind of just like a silence, you know? There was no panic, there was no like shakiness, there was no, it was just peaceful. It's the fucking weirdest thing. You let me know what you think. Tell me, share your near death experiences if you had any. I hope you didn't.